Hi there folks, and welcome to my channel. This project that I've been making, it's tulips with a lighting. I don't know whether the camera, hopefully the camera will pick up that light. It's still quite light in my craft room, so even though I've switched the lights off, it's still not exactly dark, and I don't want to do it too late because then otherwise my lights are not bright enough to show you how I've done it. So anyway, so this is the project that I've been doing this week. What it started off with, because as many of you know, I'm still working, but working from home. And the team meeting that we have over the internet, we decided we wanted to do some activities, quizzes and things like that, just to keep morale going and to, you know, sort of keep us, the team sort of working together and building that teamwork still. So we did some activities, some quizzes and stuff. And this week, because it's the last Clap for Carers week, we decided that this activity this week was going to be to create something to go in your window, to show appreciation for the carers, for the NHS and for all those key workers. I've already got posters in the window that we created right at the very beginning with the grandchildren. I don't want to take those down, so I thought, what can I do that's a little bit different? Now, the theme for this project was a rainbow theme, so whatever you did, it had to be some link to a rainbow. So I came up with this idea. So it's just a cheap battery operated, probably Poundland or somewhere, that I picked it up at Christmas. And I've got, can't really tell in this light, but it's red, yellow, then we've got the pink, the green, orange, purple and blue, which as anyone that remembers the song is the colours of the rainbow. And then I've put, just to finish off, green, pink and a very nice navy on the end. And all it is I've folded, it's an origami tulip, which I've then, because you use this end, this is the open end, that I've then pushed the light into the open end and secured it with a piece of sellotape over, so the light goes in like that and the sellotape comes through and tapes to there. So I'll pop this back into my window when I've finished the video. And I just thought it was something a little bit different. It's still got the rainbow colours, but equally, because it's battery operated, I can leave it overnight, so there's still that little bit of a light in the window with these very warm looking rainbow colours. So I thought I'd show you that and then show you how I created them. So I'm very careful, move these to one side. You just have to be, before I move on, you just have to be careful that you use the right lights. Now these, there's no heat in that whatsoever, nothing at all, even though it's quite bright. There's just no heat coming off it, so you just have to make sure that you have got the right ones for that. I'll stick that back over with some tape. So you just have to make sure you've got the right ones that don't give off any heat. I have used origami paper, but I didn't have all the colours in the origami, so I have just used some regular craft card paper. This is between a paper and a card. It's quite lightweight for a card, but then quite heavy for a paper. So I've just used that, and it doesn't matter what size you use. And in fact, my daughter was bridesmaid a couple of years ago to somebody who created enormous ones of these. The paper must have been quite huge, and that was her bouquet, was a few of these very, very large tulips, paper tulips, which she'd folded. So let me pop that over that. She had a very, it was a very oriental scheme for her wedding. And she did, like, she folded 1,000 cranes before they got married, because that's supposed to bring good luck. So anyway, So any paper or card you need, I am going to use the origami just to show you, but let me pop the lights back on so you can see. I've got 2 desk lamps on my table, so that helps a little bit. So it's very warm today, very warm. So take your paper. Now this is colour on one side, white on the other. So if you've got anything the same, then you must make sure that you fold, first of all, you fold the white over with the colour on the inside. So any size square you like. If it's double-sided, don't worry, but if it's double-sided in different colours, then whatever colour you want on the outside, have on the inside to start off with. So first of all, I'm going to fold it in half like that across. So just creating that rectangle, opening it out, turning it and folding it the other way to create those rectangles again. Now what I'm going to do is flip it over, and I'm going to fold it in half again, only this time point to point. So bring it over, line it up, point to point, open it out, turn it, and then the next point to point, so that you end up with that sort of a Union Jack look going on with your folds. So if you've done it that way, what you can then do is bring the 2 of the sides up. Doesn't matter which ones you want, doesn't make any difference, but bring 2 of the sides up and then fold it to create that triangle. Okay, so let me do that again. So you're going to bring these sides up, bring them in, and bring that down to create that triangle. I'm just going to reinforce them folds. Okay, so once you've done that, you're then going to bring this corner in and fold it along that crease mark up to the top point. So hopefully you can see that. So we've brought that one up and creased it to there. I'm going to do the same this side. Bring that point up as far as you can, right to that middle crease line, bring it down and crease it down. Now you can see the white coming through because my square isn't exactly perfect. Now I've found that that hasn't made much of a difference. So I've got the first 2 leaves done. So I'm going to flip it over and do exactly the same on this side. So bringing it in, lining it up, and then I'm going to crease down that line. The sharper the crease is, the easier it is. So bringing that up, lining this edge up with that edge along there and along this central crease. So very carefully lining it all up, and that should give us a nice square. So what I'm going to do now is, so I've got those 2 there and I've got those 2 there, so it looks like that. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to open it up. I'm going to fold that across, so I've only got the crease line in the middle, and I'm going to do the same on that side, so that when I hold it up, that is in the middle of that fold. So hopefully you can see. So I've gone from those 2 like that, I've folded that over, and then I've folded it so that that one is over that way as well. So I've now just got a square like that, so you can't see those bits. They're tucked away safely in there. Now once I've done that, I have my open end here, so all my open bits are at that end. Okay, so what I'm now going to do is I'm going to bring this top leaf, so I'm going to leave that one there, this top leaf, and I'm going to fold from this line up, with this crease mark in the middle. So I'm just going to bring it over like that, and then I'm going to crease it down. Okay, so I've left that one where it is, but I've just brought that top one over and lined it up with that central crease. So I'm going to do the same there. Bring that piece over, line it up with that central crease. Now you've got to work it because you are fighting against about 6 or 7 layers of paper there. So we've got a sort of a triangle going on there. Then I'm going to flip it over and do exactly the same on this side. So again, I've got the closed end here, I've got the open end here, because I've got all my pieces there, and I'm going to bring that over and line it up with that central crease line there. Hopefully you can see it. I wonder if I've got a pen somewhere so I can draw it in for you. That's a pencil. That's no good. Let's have a look. So I've got a pen here. So that's the central crease line down the middle. So that's where I'm aiming for. That's where I did one of my creases right at the beginning. So I'm going to bring that in, line it up with that crease mark the best I can, fighting with several layers of paper. And I'm going to do exactly the same this side. Bring it over, line it up with that central crease mark, and using my bone folder. Right, so now you've got that going on, so on both sides. Okay, now this time, this is where we're going to get a little bit tricky. So I find it easier to tuck the back ones out of the way, and I want to tuck one of these inside the other. So I'm just going to open this one up ever so slightly so I can get at it, and I'm going to tuck this all the way in best I can. See, this is where it gets a little bit fiddly, so let's push that in. It is very fiddly, this bit. Sometimes I do try and make one side slightly bigger than the other when I fold it, just so as it makes it easier for this part. So fiddly fiddly. There we go, nearly got it. Okay, let's try it the other way. Of course, because I'm on camera, I'm all fingers and thumbs. There we go, that side's much easier, look. Did that straight away. There we go. And I'm going to flip it over to this side and do exactly the same. What I mean is sometimes when I fold it, I try and make one side slightly higher here than the other. Just makes it a little bit more easier to fold them in at this point. But I didn't do it this time. Okay, let's see if we can get that in. I'm trying to do it upside down as well. Let's turn it the way I can see it. Let's see if that makes any difference. Probably not. Get in there, you bugger. There we go. So I've got that side in and that side. Now what you'll see is you've got all these bits at the end, but you have a very small little hole at that end. What you're going to do is you're going to put that to your lips and you're going to blow. Okay? And that is what happens. It just blows it up like a balloon. So now we've got the shape of our tulip. When I blew, this flew out, so I'm just going to tuck it straight back in. There we go. And I'm going to blow again, but I'm going to hold it very carefully, both sides, to keep those tucks in. Okay, there we go. So almost there. next thing is we've got all of these folds up, and I'm going to bring them down, just to bring them down as the leaves for my tulip. So here we go. Turn it again. And I'm going to do that one first because that one's the one on the outside. Here we go. Bring it down as far as you can, comfortably can. There we go. And there we have our finished tulip. Now, what I usually do is take a little bit of glue, because we're just relying on them being tucked in there to hold the shape. So I'm just going to push my glue in there and squeeze a little bit out, just to hold these in place down each corner, so that those tucks stay in place. And there we have our tulip finished, and this was the end that I blew in, and that is the end then that I am going to use. Let's take that pink one off again. That's the end I'm going to use to push that in there like that. And then I'm going to take a piece of very thin tape, just a very thin piece of tape, and then holding that open, I'm just going to tape across like that. I have to put the pink one back on because otherwise it's not in sequence. But there we go. I'll leave that to dry, and there we have our tulip. And if you don't want to use it for something like this, you can then get some barbecue sticks, push them through, paint the barbecue stick green, and you have a bunch of tulips. So I hope you like that. I hope you don't mind that I've used what they're called, these fairy lights. Honestly, as long as you check that they're okay to be used with in this way, that they are the low voltage non-heat ones, then they are fine to use. And like I say, I've left these on overnight and they have been fine. So yeah, so project. Even if you don't use them with the lights, you could use them in lots of other ways. You could just string them together on a garland maybe. So there you go, today's project. I hope you're all safe and well. A couple of people did ask about my neighbour. Unfortunately, we had the sad news yesterday that she had in fact passed away. The hospital checked and there was no brain activity, unfortunately. Once we'd got the heartbeat back, they lost her a couple more times. So unfortunately they made the heartbreaking choice decision to turn off the ventilator, and after a short time she sadly passed away. So yeah, sad news, but you know, we did what we could. Anyway, I'm going to leave you with that, and yeah, my rainbow salute to the NHS and key workers. Okay, folks, speak to you soon. Bye for now.